Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, how is everyone? Okay. All right. So I am on here to talk about narcissists. I'm starting a series about narcissists, different kinds of narcissists, and narcissism. So this is going to be split up in a couple of days, to a couple of days. So tonight I'm only going over um, relationships and friendships. So this is like a series to like kind of talk about what to look for when it comes to narcissists and what narcissism, the effects of narcissism and what you need to look for. And so I'm going to be telling you stories, and I am not a therapist, so I am not trying to give anyone advice on what to do. I'm only sharing my experience. So that is not to, again, tell someone what to do, but I'm hoping that my story can help, or stories can help people per se. And that's the reason why I'm doing this, mainly because there's a lot of people that is going through this that may not know. And so let's get started. So, I was in a romantic, first of all, let me tell you who I am. I'm Kristen Nicole Mann, and if you don't know, then now you know. And I do a lot of things, and let's just say I'm just a creative at heart. And I'm on here to talk about relationships tonight. So let's just get started. I used to be in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, a romantic one. Now, let me get some announcements out the way. This is not Legend's dad. So please do not contact him and ask him, why am I talking about him? Because I'm not. I am not talking about Jermaine. PSA. I'm talking about someone that doesn't need to be named. That I used to be in a relationship with long time ago. So this is like now over 9 years ago. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because it really almost took me out, like to the point where I drove myself crazy. There was a lot of things that happened that allowed me to have low self-esteem, really question who I was, question like my whole life, because this person played with me to the point where it was detrimental. And so I'm here to help someone that may be going through this with a romantic partner. And then I'm going to get on friendships, because there's so many various people that can be narcissists. So romantic. Okay, so this person came in my life at a time where I just had gotten a new job, and everything started out great. There was no signs of narcissism, which is usually how it comes. There's no sign of narcissism at all. This person seemed normal. We started going out on dates, and everything was great. Thought he was a great person. We kind of went fast. That's one sign, going fast. That's not everybody, but we kind of moved fast because we really liked each other. And from the outside looking in, seemed like nothing was wrong with him. He crossed every T, dotted every I. And then as time went on, this person needed a place to stay. So this comes out after the fact of knowing him. And usually when narcissists that want to be romantic with you, they need something. So they're gonna like observe your life and like where you're at and see if you're in like a vulnerable space. Like I said, at the time I just got a new job and I was moving into a new apartment. So ding ding ding, he of course heard about this over the dates that we went out on, and he was plotting the whole time probably on how to get in my apartment. And because he needed a place to stay. And so what he did was finesse this whole plan. And it brought me to like asking him, "Oh, you can stay at my place." And that's how it started. Now, when he started staying at my place, now this is before I was really like out there. When he started staying at my place, that's when I started recognizing the change in myself. Okay, so the change in myself happened when I started being around him a lot more. And what happened was there was a switch instantly. So the love bombing stopped. And what love bombing means is that they will shower you with gifts, they will shower you with dates, they will really, really do everything that you like, find out what you like, and want to do that all the time until they get you hooked. And so that stopped when he moved in. Then it got to a point where I thought something was always wrong. So I would be like, what's wrong? I would get a silent treatment every now and then out of nowhere. And I would be like, okay, what's wrong? And he would be like, nothing. And he'll just be cold. Like he would not be like affectionate, like not even look at me. Like he would always be on his phone. And I'm like, what's wrong? What did I do? So I would be at work constantly like, what did I do? What did I do? How can I make this better? Can I cook a meal? Can I buy him something? Can I do? And this is what narcissists do. They kind of like suck you in to the point where everything is about them. And it was starting to work because, he needed me only to have a place to stay. Specifically. But what I thought is like forever. This is a forever thing. So I'm skipping a lot of parts because this was a long and slow, like it was a slow draining. So I was starting to really overwork myself to keep this person's attention. And I'm like, one of my coworkers is seeing this, and I'm like just tired at work one day. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. He doesn't seem like he's interested. And this is like an OG. So he's probably going to see this and be laughing. But he told me, he said, get yourself together because something ain't right. And I was like, no, something gotta be right. Like it just gotta be me. Like maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm working too much. And as time went on, it just kept progressing. Like the coldness, the non-talking, definitely felt like something was going on. So I remember this was the last thing because I'm like trying to move through this so that I can get on friendships. The last thing was, he bought me flowers the day before he broke up with me. Now, I remember coming home and I'm like, what's going on with this? Like, I never got flowers. So I got flowers. There's these roses on the table and I'm like, okay, maybe something's turning around. And I remember there was this incident where, his best friend was like, after I got the flowers, he was like, I got to talk to you about something. And I'm like, what? Okay. And he's like, well, he kind of thinks that you've been gaining weight and, that's why he's been ignoring you. Now, at this time, I don't have no child. I've never had a child. I was about 25, 130, like dripping wet. I was not big at all. And so when his friend told me that, I'm like, I'm fat. Like, what? And he's like, yeah, he thinks you're getting fat. And so I text him about it and I'm like, do you think that I'm like gaining weight? And he was like, yeah, man, I've been trying to tell you. I didn't know how to break the news to you. And I'm like, what? I'm looking at myself like at work and I'm just like, I am not big at all. And so I asked my coworker, the OG, and I'm like, my boyfriend is saying that I'm gaining weight and I'm fat. Like, what do I do? And he's like, you need to, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you need to, like, run. Like, he literally told me to leave this dude. And I'm, like, distraught at work. I'm crying, like, to the, you know how you could like play it off, but I'm crying. I'm like distraught at work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight. Like, this is how they get you. Like, it's a mental manipulation. So they break you down mentally to the point where they can talk to you like this. And in this case, it was so sneaky snake like that he used his best friend to do the damage, and then he added on to it by confirming what his friend said. So it was so I don't even, when I got out of that situation, I was like, how did I even get into this? Because both his friend and him were narcissists. So they were both like tag teaming. His best friend was over our house every single day. Putting his feet up on my coffee table. Like, I'm getting off of work and or coming home from lunch, and he's there and he's eating my food. All like, I'm like, what is going on? And so come to find out, this man had a whole other life. And it was devastating when I found out, because there was things that he was doing from day one. It wasn't like he just started doing that within our relationship. He was actually like dating other people like from the jump. So I never knew about it. And when he bought me the flowers, he broke up with me not too long after that. And I had happened to come home to where people were in my house moving his stuff out. Now I'm like, who are these people? I'm seeing everything lit up in my apartment. And I'm like, who are these people? And it was his best friend and then this other female that he worked with. And I'm like hot at this point. So I go upstairs and I'm like, what are y'all doing in my apartment? And they're like, oh, we're moving him out. You know, he's not talking to me, by the way. So he's just like moving his stuff. His friends are speaking for him. Now, this is where I get even more upset, because I'm like, you're not going to say anything? Like, I've been talking to you all day and you have not said one thing about moving out. And that's what they do as well. They plan, they're strategic with the moves that they make. They don't tell you. You're going to be left in the dark. They play with your mind. And that's how they work in romantic relationships. And so, oh, somebody commented, I was with one for 10 years, married for 3. I didn't know what to call his behavior until I started to research after the divorce. It was mentally draining and I lost myself so bad. So yes, I lost myself bad. I lost so much weight. I was already, like I said, 125 to 130. I lost so much weight after that because what he did, he abruptly left. He abruptly left. He did not talk to me about anything. I didn't even know he had a whole other life until after he went on a whole trip to Florida with the girl that he was talking to, one of them, while we were together. And so the reason why I'm telling this is because there's so many women going through this that don't know what it is. Like, they don't have the language for how they're being treated. And females do it too. So this is not just a male thing. Females play with men just like men play with females with narcissism. And so in my case, this was a male, and there are more males that are overt with it, not covert. Women are more covert with narcissism. So what does that mean? Overt means they're more obvious with, the traits or the characteristics. Women are more covert because we can like kind of craft it to where it's not so obvious. But in this case, he was running me crazy. Like, I thought everything of this person, even faked an engagement. I didn't even get to that part yet, but he faked an engagement, and it was just, everything was fake. I was just like, how can someone do this to somebody? And it was fake. Like, bought a ring, everything. It was fake though, because it was to keep me at a certain space in his life. So it wasn't really like because he wanted to marry me or be in love. It was just to keep me like kept, like so that I won't go nowhere. And this is what people really do. And so that's just one story out of the several. But I just wanted to share that about the romantic part of narcissism, because there are people that prey on vulnerable people, and they look for that type of situation so that they can insert themselves in and keep you at low self-esteem, really overworking yourself to keep them around. They play with your mind. I don't know how else to describe that, but if you have this scenario or you're feeling like you're with someone like that, run as far as you can. And I've been doing a series on TikTok, and there's so many women that have inboxed me like, I can't believe like this is like spot on, because this is what's going on, and I'm just sharing, y'all. So if you're in that, run. Next thing, friendships. Okay, narcissism can be in friendships, because tomorrow I'm going to talk about church, and then I'm going to talk about family, and then I'm going to talk about work, because across the board I've had just a consistency of running into these type of people. But friendships, okay? So if you have a friend that you deemed as a friend and they are narcissists, this is what you want to look for. You want to look for, if you are working harder for the relationship or friendship more than them. So what do I mean? You're always calling. They're never calling you. That's the first sign. You're always calling them, and you always have to see what they are doing. Because what narcissists are, they're self-centered. They're very like about themselves, and they don't really extend themselves. They're not really givers. And so you're going to be, if you're friends with one, you're going to be reaching out to them before they reach out to you. You're going to feel like you're their servant. You're going to feel like you're beneath them. They also will need you only for a specific thing. So they'll kind of finesse you to the point where you feel like you've hit it off with them. Because when I became friends with this one person, I noticed a theme. Like, I noticed that I was kind of like starting to try to please them, be like a people pleaser. They're really good at like hooking the people pleasers or the people with like big hearts. And they really like approached me on that. And they were like, I see you have this. I love this about you. I love this. You're great at this and da 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 da. And so when I came in their midst, they were trying to take over as if like, well, you should do this, or maybe you should try to, and I didn't ask them for no advice, by the way. I didn't ask them for what should I be doing. And they will make you feel like you're here, and they know everything what's best about your life. But yet you turn around and tell them something about maybe a suggestion or something, they get immediately, they don't like that. They do not like suggestions. They don't like to feel like you're telling them what to do. It's a big no-no. And so when I was friends with this person, they were telling me like, I'm not a college person. I dropped out. I made the decision to not go back to college. And so when I came friends with this person, they were like, go to college. You should go back to do like something completely off from who I am. And I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to keep coming around this person. I'm going to see like there's something about this person that I'm not really like feeling. And so, when you're friends with them, they're going to ask you to do stuff. And what I mean is, it's not going to be like meeting in the middle. It's going to be more like they'll bring you on their projects. They'll just treat you like a worker more than a friend. And when you try to, confide in them, they want to hear everything about you. But then when you turn around and ask them, like, how are you doing? It's just like this wall up. And you're not really getting an engagement. And you feel like you're really trying to figure them out throughout the whole friendship. You don't want to be friends with people like that, because what they're doing is they're not really trying to be your friend. They just need something from you. Whether it's your gift, whether it's like maybe a lot of people like you and they want that for themselves, so they'll keep you around so that you can draw the people that they need. And then once they, get acquainted with those people, they'll dismiss you. I've had that before. I've had where, I've had just so many disrespectful times from narcissists. And it's a fairly new term, so people don't really know what they're dealing with. I encourage you to look it up and kind of see what the traits are, the characteristics are, especially if you're in a romantic relationship with one or you're friends with one, because in the environments, they act different. So psychologists or the psychology world, they call it multiple personality disorder, because their personality changes wherever they're at. When I was dating that person, they would be one way at work, and I would be like, wow, they're so nice, like here, like I wish they would bring that home. And then they would be one way when they're with me. Then they would be one way with their family. Then they would be one way with their friends. It was just confusing, and it was draining to keep up with them. And then the same thing for friendships. Those type of people are different. They have different personalities, depending upon the environment. And so really what narcissists, where they get their behavior from is trauma. They've dealt with trauma. The person I used to date, he had a horrible relationship with his mother. His mother was basically non-existent in his life. His dad was murdered. Had a real rocky relationship with his family. So definitely he, shared a little bit about him growing up, and it was a lot of trauma. And so people with big hearts, you want to help people, and that's what they look for. They look for people that want to like help. They look for people that are givers. They look for people that just love people so that they can like take advantage. And so, trauma is the number one thing of why narcissism exists. There's also like the strained relationship with their caregivers. So if their caregivers was 9 times out of 10 a narcissist, they're a narcissist because they grew up in that environment, and it cultivated something within them. And so they also act like what they seen growing up. It could be genetics. It could just be something that's in the family where it's passed down. There's a lot of families that deal with narcissists and narcissism being passed down from generation to generation to generation. So it could be various things, but trauma is the number one thing that narcissism stems from. And so when I was dating this person and I met the family, I was like, okay. But being that I had a big heart, I was just like, all right, I'll put up with it, and that's that. And yeah, it was toxic, y'all. It was toxic. I mean, he had about, I found a message from a girl after we broke up in my secret. It's like Facebook has secret inboxes, and this was like when I moved to New York. I was cleaning this inbox, and I had a message from this person that he was talking to, and it was like, hey, are you da da da? It said all this stuff, and I'm like, this person really was living a whole other life. Wow. How can you do that to someone? And so I'm so glad that I got out of it. I no longer, I didn't look back. Very handsome person. They're usually handsome. They take really good care of themselves. So on the exterior, you're not going to know that these people are narcissists or out to hurt you or harm you. And then there's some narcissists that are abusive as well. Thank God that I was not in a situation where I was like abused at the same time. But honestly, you are in a certain way because mentally you are abused, no matter if they're hitting you or not. They mentally play with your mind. So recovery from that relationship, it was a long journey. It was like I had to really unlearn everything that person has said about me, because I mean, nothing I did was right. Nothing I put on, they didn't compliment me. They didn't say I look pretty. Again, they said I was fat and I was only 125. That's like mental verbal abuse. And so when you have someone saying that for, I think it was like 2-3 years I was with this person. So it was an unlearning that I had to do, and I had to learn about myself all over again. And yeah, even with friendships, there was some toxic friendships that I had where it really just didn't make me feel like I was worthy of being here. All they wanted was to take, 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 take. Narcissists are takers. They're not givers. And so if you have people in your life that just take constantly, they don't care about what you're going through. They don't care about if you have the energy or not. They don't care. They just want to take, 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 take. That's 9 times out of 10 a characteristic of narcissists. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to start with relationships because yes, we have a culture and a society where there are, relationship goals and all this stuff, but you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these people. So don't like follow people. Know for yourself like what you're getting into. Of course, I'm a believer, so I have to talk to God a lot. And we're not going to be perfect when we, run into people. We're not going to always know like who they are. But there is this culture out here now that's like this hookup culture. And I'm like, people think they're just hooking up like for a second. But hookup culture is damaging because you can run into a narcissist, while you're thinking that you're just doing like a one night stand. You could be hooked to this person demonically, and they could really hook you into just something that you cannot shake for years. And you see so many women and men go through this where they'll be like, it's just something about this person, I can't let them go. That's demonic. Like, I couldn't let this last person go that I was talking about, and it really beat me down. It played on my mind tremendously, and it was toxic. It was to the point where I couldn't focus at work. I was losing weight. There was one relationship that I actually was losing hair. This was when I was like a teen, though. I was like maybe 18. And they had the nerve to reach out to me New Year's of this year. Hadn't talked to the person in like 20 years. But they were like, oh, I'm your first love and I want to talk to you. And I was like, the devil is a lie. Like, get out my inbox. But then these people, they're sick. Like, they don't think they've done anything wrong. They'll talk to you like nothing even happened. And that's how the other person did. Like, they inboxed me later on. When I moved to New York, they was like, oh, your son is beautiful, and maybe we can keep in contact. And I'm like, no, no, no. No, go on with your life. I am giving you full reign to move on. But yeah, with all jokes aside, make sure that you let this type of person go, because it's not good. It's not good. It's not doing you no justice to try to figure these people out. It's not doing you no justice to be help them, because they don't really want help. They just need you for a specific thing. And you don't want to stretch yourself thin. So if you have any questions about anything I said tonight, I tried to tell a story from real experience. I am not a psychologist. I am not telling you to book a session with me to tell you what to do. I'm just helping people because I know narcissism is running rapid, not only in relationships and friendships. It's running rapid in the church. It's running rapid in work environments. It's running rapid in family environments. And it's definitely running rapid in this sector. So you really want to be careful with who you're around in this season. So hope this helped you. I will be putting this up on YouTube. If you follow me on TikTok, it's Kristen Nicole Man, and YouTube it's Kristen Nicole Man. Just look that up. And I'm ready to share for tomorrow. So tune back in, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.